guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today I have the story for you. This is an email that was sent from a subscriber who is 33 years old and shares his story how recently not only he but as his two other friends discovered that all their wives are cheating on them. Yep, and going on for some time. You're going to see this guy in the story has been married for 11 years, got married ridiculously early, and clearly didn't get to know his wife before he obviously said I do. And you're going to see how this whole thing unravels because all the wives get together and do girls' nights every Friday night. And as you can imagine, a lot of spicy activities was taking place at these bars and clubs that they frequent. A lot of things that I'm not going to describe just yet. As well as you're going to see how this whole thing comes about, how he discovers this. And now how he and the two other guys are all working together, a support system, if you will, to divorce these three hags and move on with their lives. And it's a really, really good one. Now, as you can see from the beginning here, this is a long one. This is going to be part one of two stories here because I can't do it all at once. It's too freaking much. But I promise you guys, part two will be uploaded and available to watch just a couple hours after this ends when you finish watching it. But definitely grab some popcorn because this is going to be one of the more interesting ones I've done in a while. So it starts off, it says here, hello SSM. I found your channel by originally searching YouTube to get some idea of what my divorce would look like. Advice about how to interact with lawyers and judges. What to tell the kids, what to plan for, and what to do. I happen on your channels. Your channel is more about the need to get rid of a cheating wife, how to heal from her unfaithfulness, and to support those of us who need it. That is my life right now. I need that support, so I started watching. I've recommended you to the husbands of my wife's two friends who also cheated on their husbands and who are also getting divorced. You tell me they are devoted viewers of your channels. You mentioned that writing up our stories may get the help of the agony of having someone you love betray you, and it has helped me. I hope with your help pointing out all my mistakes, my story helps others. Bro, I'm sorry for what you're going through, and I'm sorry for your friends what they're going through, but you know what? You are 33 years old. You got your whole life ahead of you. Your prime's beginning, my man, and you will be able to get through this, and your buddies, as sadly, countless other dudes have before you, and will after you. And your story here, I promise you, will help others down the road. Guaranteed. This is the story of how my wife went from girls' nights out to being a serial cheater to asking me for an open marriage. It's not a pretty story. My name is Brad. I'm 33 years old. I met my wife Fran, also 33 in college, when we were 20 years old. We've been together ever since. We've been married for 11 years. Smack! You're 33, so minus 11 is 22. You got married at 22 years old. Why the hell would you think that is a good idea? You met her at 20 years old, you got married at 22. That is not near enough time to get to know her. Okay, really. And her family and all those things. I don't care what anybody fucking says. Somebody's going to comment, well, my grandpa and my grandma got married when they were 19 years old, SSM, or something like that. Times are different now. Clearly, maturity levels of people that age, nothing like they were decades ago. Are there exceptions? Of course, but by and large, you all know. Bro, you didn't know her. You should be working on your career and establishing yourself. But, I had to say it, this is a learning channel. But anyhow, make that clear. I work at a large insurance company. My wife is a homemaker. We have 2 children together, both boys 10 and 8 years old. Wow, you didn't waste any time having kids. I thought that we were happily married. I thought our life together was great. I thought we would watch the boys grow and turn into men together. I thought we would be together until death do us part. Nope. Fran came home last Saturday morning from one of her weekly girls' nights out on a Friday night. She does these each Friday with 2 of her friends, Liv and Jessie. Your wife every Friday night goes out? What the fuck? Dude, she should be with you and your boys. Maybe once a month. Maybe have the girls come over to your house, watch some movies, have some freaking wine or whatever the hell they drink. That's it. The rest of the time, you should be her top priority. Your children, top priority. Not girls' night, some shithole bar every fucking Friday night. That's ridiculous. And if she wouldn't like that and label you controlling, say, well, there's the door. We can get divorced. And you have to mean it. Let's see here. Liv and her husband James are our age. James has been my best friend since college. They have 2 kids, a boy 12 years old and a girl 10. Liv is also a homemaker. Jesse, 28 years old, is married to Steve, who's 31. Jesse works part-time at a travel agency. No kids, we're all friends. Barbecues, swimming parties, dinners out, birthdays, anniversaries, 3 couples, all good buddies. All good buddies married to all 3 good bitches. All 3 bad bitches. Anyway, Fran got home at almost 1:30 a.m. Saturday and had been drinking heavily. That is not acceptable. She's a goddamn mother. Okay? You should never allow that to happen, my man. Grow the fuck up, woman. The next morning, she slept in and was hungover when she finally got up late Saturday morning. She took 2 aspirins, ate some toast, and sat on the couch looking miserable. Well, good. I asked her how her night with the girls went. She grimaced and told me she had something she wanted to discuss, but wanted to wait until her head didn't hurt so much. She saw that I was alarmed, so she said it was nothing important. Don't worry, it's nothing. Well, let's just see, gentlemen, what this nothing thing is in her opinion. Who she has to bring up while she's sitting on the couch, hungover, hurting, and miserable. What's so pressing that she has to bring up that quickly? I took the boys to an afternoon movie. Fran stayed home. After we got home, Fran asked the boys to go play in their rooms. She and I had to talk. The boys left. I sat down in the living room, waited for Fran. She looked anxious and sheepish at the time. She asked me if I knew that her friend Liv and her husband, James, were in an open marriage. You can see where this is going. He had been for 4 years. It has not only helped their sex life immensely, but also their marriage. So this is his buddy. You'd think he would know if his buddy, this was going on. They're more in love than they ever been. She stopped to look at my reaction. I didn't say anything, but thought, so this is how my marriage ends. My wife is cheating on me. Bro, I'm sorry you're going through this, but I'm glad immediately you were thinking those things. You were way ahead than a lot of guys. Fran continued that Liv, their other friend, Jesse, and Fran spent girls' night talking about open marriages. Fran thought it would do wonders for our sex life and marriage too. Where did they think this? Reading Cosmopolitan magazine? Because if they would Google this, there'd be never-ending stories. They'd probably see my ass showing up there on Google saying how bad of an idea it is. We've been together for 13 years, and she's been completely faithful to me every minute of those 13 years. This is her telling him this. I've been faithful to you every minute of those 13 years. Okay, let's see. She loves me now more than she ever has. She isn't looking for a new husband, but I have to admit, things have been stale in the bedroom. An open marriage will make our sex lives more exciting. She looked at me and asked what I thought. What do I think? Bitch, pack your bag. That's what I think. I asked her if she was already seeing someone. She turned pale but said, of course not. I asked if she had a guy in mind. This was not going to be the way she thought it was going to. This was not going the way she thought it would, so she repeated that she's always been faithful to me. Well, can I get that in writing, Fran? I'm going to take a moment, and can I record that? This was just an idea we could discuss. I shouldn't get upset. Can we just have a conversation about me accusing her of something? So already he's being twisted around to the bad guy here. So, okay, let me review, Fran. You want to go fuck other dudes because you love me so much, and our marriage is so great. It'll make our marriage so wonderful. That's what you're telling me. Guess what? Newsflash. This usually means you're already hooking up with somebody else, or someone's, plural, or you have someone or many someones in mind. I'll buy for a second. This isn't just a casual discussion to talk about on a Saturday afternoon in September. I asked to see her phone. She turned pale. Her eyes opened in alarm. I've never looked through her phone. She asked why I wanted to see her phone. I told her she just told me she wants to cheat on me. I want to see if she's already cheating. She reiterated that she was not cheating. She told me I could not see her phone. An invasion of privacy. You want my permission to go F other dudes. You're breaking my heart here, wife, by the way. And so, yeah, I want to see your phone if you're cheating. Hand it over. After all those years together, if I didn't trust her, maybe I should seek help. Gentlemen, you watch my videos a lot. You notice a pattern here. When a guy's a legitimate issue about something, they always twist it around to make you out to be crazy and the bad guy here. And they can keep their poker faces. Women are master poker players, masters of bullshit. She repeated that she loves me and wasn't looking for a new husband, just something to spice up our XCX lives. Actually, I believe she's not looking for a new husband because she has you, who you say work for a large insurance company, and since she's a homemaker, I assume makes a pretty decent living. So why mess up the good living part of the whole thing, right? She can be a mom and have her kids and not have to go to work because the boys are 10 and 8 years old. They're off at school all day. The hell's she doing? And but she can have her fun on the side. A win-win situation. So of course she doesn't want a new husband. And her perception of you, my friend, is that you're so weak and stupid and she's so amazing that of course you'd go along with this ridiculous plan. That's her perception of you. And I don't know what you've been like with her for 11 years, but I do know you rushed to get married to her after 2 years. And at that young age, that communicates to a woman that this guy had the power. This guy's dying to get me. So I'm the prize and I can make demands. That's why you don't rush into relationships. You make them work years to get you if you do marriage. 5 years minimum if you're going to get married. And you got to freaking live with her for a bit to get to know what she's like. Take your time, gentlemen, for many, many reasons. I told her to give me her phone. She said no. She's not someone who I can order around. Her phone was none of my business. I got up and told her I'm going to pack. I'm leaving her. She obviously was hiding stuff on her phone or she didn't want me to see. We are divorcing. Good for you, bro. A lot of guys would be breaking down and crying and handling this way different. She gasped. Now she really panicked. She rushed over to me to put her arms around me. She said she was sorry she brought it up. She must still be a bit drunk. She didn't mean to upset me. So she goes from being a hard ass to all of a sudden you said that I'm fucking leaving, to all of a sudden switching tactics like that. See what happens when a man walks away or he says he's going to walk away? And see how a woman can easily switch things like a light switch? She says, we'll never talk about open marriage again. That she loves me. She's perfectly happy with our life together, our sex life included. Bitch, if you were happy, you would have brought this up. And I might add, you wouldn't be doing girls' night every Friday night. She said, me leaving her something so stupid was crazy. Please sit down and we can talk about something else. Oh, okay, let's talk about the fucking the Red Sox. Did I know that our oldest son is doing a project on Ancestry and needs to interview both of us? Oh, there's an idea. Ancestry. Ancestry.com. Let's get some DNA tests in our kids, and just for fun, of course. I told her to give me her phone. She understood now that I wasn't going to give up. She said it was upstairs in the bedroom on the charger. She'll get it. No. Allow me, honey. She started toward the stairs. I told her no. I'll get it. Anything she didn't want me to see would be gone from her phone by the time she came back with it. Fran freaked out, but I told her I was getting her phone. I got it and put it in front of her face to open it. I opened her text messages and Fran started crying. Niagara Falls. Of course, when all else fails, bring out the tears. Now remember her line, I've never cheated on you. I've been faithful for all these years. Okay. I looked through her texts from me, her friends, her parents, and sister. Also texts from someone labeled Bob's Big Boy. Really? That's what she came up with? I asked Fran, who's Bob's Big Boy? She put her head in her hands and was crying harder. Oh, for God's sakes. I opened those texts. Most of the texts were about times and places to meet. Oh, it must be a prayer group then. That's a code name for a prayer group at church. Because remember, she's been faithful for all these years. Last set of texts were about meeting him last night at his house. Well, honey, you were supposed to be at girls' night. What do you mean? This is a mistake, obviously. I must be so foolish to think that you would be doing something with a guy named Bob and his big boy. Most of the rest of the texts were about Fran's S-word encounters with the guy, past sexual meetings, and what Fran was looking forward to in the future. This broad is so fucking dumb. Right there, all that information. They were very explicit. I forwarded most of the texts to my phone, especially the text about when they had hooked up and their plans for the future. But I also forwarded the more explicit texts. I had it on the phone, but I closed it so she'd think I was finished looking at her texts. I wanted to see how truthful this she would be. I said to her, let me guess, her lover's name is Bob. She said he was someone she met a few weeks ago, and I didn't know him. It was at a girls' night out. She was drunk. Liv and Jesse were pushing her into it. Okay, so, number one, this just started. Number two, my girlfriends made me do it. It's not my fault. They're the ones that made me do it. They're the ones to blame. And of course, I was drunk. No fucking accountability. The guy took advantage of her. Add that to the list of who to blame. She continued with him only because he told her he'd tell me if she stopped seeing him. She loved me and didn't want her foolishness to ruin our marriage. Oh my God. She'll never see him again. She felt so guilty and ashamed that she dreaded seeing the guy. But she didn't want him to tell me, and she met him on the girls' nights out. Man, her nose is just growing and growing and growing like Pinocchio. This is Pinocchio here. I put the phone in front of her face again to open it. She tried to grab the phone. Nope. I looked at the text history to see what the text started. They started over 10 months ago. You want to revise your story, sweetheart? You know the guys about trickle truth? Not a few weeks ago, and she just kept crying. Nothing to say. I looked more closely at the text. He was also coming to our house during the day to meet Fran. Do you want to talk about adding insult to injury here? He's banging her in this guy's house that he works hard every day to pay for her and the kids. Please tell me you're in an at-fault divorce state. I asked Fran about him being in our home. She didn't say anything, but was sobbing more loudly. Ooh! I mean, you think she's going to cry long and loud enough that he's eventually going to break down? That's what she's hoping for. I asked in our bed, and she didn't answer, just kept crying into her hands. Oh! I stared at her. She just kept crying. Not much more to say. But James, Liv's husband, was my best friend. We had the same ideas about marriage and fidelity. Nothing would surprise me more than if James had actually agreed to an open marriage with Liv. I asked Fran if James knew that he and Liv were in open marriage. She looked at me wondering where this was going and said that that's what Liv told her. Liv introduced her and Jesse to the guy Fran has been seeing. Fran's understanding was that Liv and him had been lovers before she introduced him to Fran and Jesse. Sure, honey, because you've been so truthful to this point, I really believe everything you say. I asked if Jesse was also effing this guy. She sighed and said she didn't know what Jesse was doing. It was none of our business. I said, but it's Steve's, Jesse's husband's business. The kids came downstairs to see why their mother was crying. I told them to go back to their rooms. We would talk later. And I bet you his boys were instantly going into protection mode to protect their poor, sweet, innocent mama. I said, let's find out if James knows he's in open marriage. Fran stopped crying. She said, please don't call him. That's between the two of them. I shouldn't involve myself in their marriage. I said he's my friend. I owe it to him to let him know his wife is telling people she's in an open marriage. I want to know if Fran was telling people that. She asked me again not to call him. I said, okay, I won't call him. Fran can call him instead. Fran was taken aback. She said she wouldn't even know what to say. She's not calling him. I gave her the phone and told her to call James. Just ask if he knows if he's in an open marriage. We'll go from there. She said she's not calling him. I said there's nothing more to discuss. Go pack a bag. Either she's leaving tonight or I am. We're divorcing. She looked to see if I was serious. She figured I was. She said she'd call him. Isn't it amazing what happens when a guy starts laying down the law? Or he's prepared to walk or does walk? Isn't it amazing? That's what nice guys don't get. Or they don't get it until it's too fucking late. He answered. I had her put the phone on speaker. She asked him if he knew that he and Liv were in an open marriage. Nothing from him for a while. Finally, he asked Fran, what the fuck is she talking about? Fran hung up the phone. I asked her why she hung up. She said I told her to ask him if he knew he was in an open marriage. She did. He doesn't know. Man, she's slick. I called James back. He was furious. He asked what was wrong with my wife. I told him that Fran has been cheating on me and told me that Liv tells her that James and Liv are in an open marriage. I said an open marriage didn't sound like James. James asked what was his wife saying. I said Liv is saying that she is effing other guys and you're okay with that. He said thanks for telling me. He's going to go find out what's going on. So notice his buddy here, James, is not having a meltdown. He's like, we'll talk later. I'm going to find out what's going on. Handling it the best way. I told Fran to pack up. She's leaving and we are divorcing. Yes. She was still crying but looked at me pleadingly. She was sorry. She loved me. This would never happen again. Man, we are going right through every chapter of the Hoe Bag Handbook here. She would break it off with the guy right now and never see him again. I'd be like, I don't fucking care. We're done. You're a piece of garbage. You can go have all the fun you want with Bob's big boy all you want. She opened her phone and wrote a text and showed it to me. It said the affair was over and she never wanted to see him again. Don't contact her. She sent it and blocked him. I just looked at her. She was frantic. She said she'll never do girls' night out again. I just looked at her and she said she'll never talk to Liv either. She's a bad influence. Oh, okay, it's Liv's fault. I just looked at her. She said that I can have full access to her phone and computer anytime I want it. I will know where she is at all times. I just continue staring at her. Here's an idea, honey. Why wasn't that done before? She started wailing, asking me what I wanted her to do. I told you what I wanted you to do. Pack up your stuff and go to your mother's. Say something. I told her I wanted her to pack her things and leave. I told her I wanted a divorce. Her crying got worse. The guy meant nothing to her. Hoe Bag Handbook, Chapter 7. She always felt so guilty. She understands that I'm furious, but she'll make it up to me. Oh, please do elaborate how you plan to make it up to me. She finished with all that. She didn't know what she was thinking. She'll be the best wife ever from now on. Please, please, please give her another chance. She'll do whatever I want. She can't live without me. The children will be better off if we stay together and I work on our marriage. No, they won't. Believe me, studies have done and life experience has shown those kids won't be better off in a miserable marriage. Think of the children. She was crying so badly now she could barely talk. So she's gone in Tuscan Raider mode. You're going to need your Tuscan Raider English dictionary to understand what the hell she's saying now. I yelled at her to pack her stuff and leave. She knew what I thought of cheaters. She didn't care enough about me not to cheat on me. She's probably always cheated on me. Probably, my friend. I'm sorry to say it, but probably. She said that's not true. This is the only time. Oh, because you've been so truthful to this point. She understands how I feel about cheaters, but she made one mistake, and I shouldn't throw away our marriage because she was so stupid. One mistake? It's been going on for 10 months. That's a lot of mistakes in that 10-month period. Mistake my ass. This is well calculated. And in our house, where our children sleep, in our bed. You're the goddamn devil. You're the freaking heiress of Slytherin. Fuck off. Get out of here. She knows that cheating hurts me to the core, but the guy really didn't mean anything to her. We can get past this. She's ready to do whatever it takes. It's just one mistake that she'll regret forever. Please, 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 let's talk. Tell her what to do. I said pack and leave. She stopped crying. She said, why did she have to leave? So notice the waterworks immediately just shut off like the sprinklers. If I want to destroy a marriage over something that was finished and would never happen again, that's my problem. Oh, so now he's the bad guy. If I wanted to separate, I should leave. But she didn't want me to leave. I told her I would leave if she did not. But if she left, we'd have a cordial relationship, at least as it comes to the children. If I left, we'll only have contact about picking up and dropping off the kids. Otherwise, we'd only communicate through our divorce lawyers. I'll never talk to her about anything but the kids again. She asked if she left, could we continue to talk about getting back together? She wanted to remain married, to take care of me more than anything. Yeah, because you've been doing such a great job of taking care of me thus far. I said, we're divorcing. She's been taking care of other guys more than she's been taking care of me. I guarantee you, my friend, that Those guys that she's been having fun with, and I guarantee it isn't just Bob's big boy, have been getting way more, being taken care of way more in many spicy ways than you ever have. Guaranteed. I guess she thought if she left that she'd give me some time to calm down, but we'd continue to talk, and she convinced me to take her back. She figured I'd start to miss her as soon as she left. You might miss the woman that you thought she was and all that as you go through the roller coaster of emotions, which you will go through, but not who she clearly is. I just remained pissed because she wasn't doing what I wanted. I'd hate her more. She said she'd leave because she loves me so much and wants me to understand she'll do anything I ask. But she's only going to be gone for a short time. Oh yeah? Well, I'm going to have the freaking locksmith over here in 15 minutes and you ain't getting back in the house. She's not going to let me go. She'll be back to talking. I thought, no, you won't. But if thinking that got her out of my house, she can believe what she wants. I told her the boys will stay here with me. We can work out a schedule for her to spend time with them. I'll tell the boys that we're separating. I won't tell them it's because she's an adulterous whore. I'll just tell them we no longer want to be married. I think what else will I tell them? Be 100% honest with your kids, even if it pisses her off. Your boys need to know. Do not let her control the narrative with your boys. God Almighty, do not let that happen. She got up to pack. I called James, Liv's husband, and my best friend. He thanked me for telling him about his wife. When he confronted Liv, she seemed almost relieved. She told James that their marriage was over anyway. She was planning on leaving and trying to get the courage to tell him. She'll leave. James can keep the kids. James can tell them whatever he wants, just leave. Let her know she doesn't contradict him. They'll work out a schedule for her to see the kids later. So James's wife, Liv, who's equally as big of an a-hole here, is just like, you can keep the kids. No big deal. Really? That shows how much he loves those kids. And again, whole DNA test. Awful. I would make sure those kids know just how easily Mama cast them aside. James said so it's true. Liv's been cheating on him. Liv said Fran, Jesse, and her were all cheating. Girls' nights have been an excuse for the three of them to hook up with other guys. How long has this been going on? Liv said for over a year. Multiple guys? Yes. She's been seeing one guy fairly regularly. Who? James doesn't know him. She went to pack. James said she was gone in 45 minutes. I think the only way she could have left that house faster is if she was fired out of a cannon. Oh my God. Well, now Liv and Fran can get together and all become roommates and go F other dudes named Bob's big boy. I asked if Jesse was also cheating. He said Liv said all three wives were cheating. I asked if Jesse's husband, Steve, knew. James said he was going to call him, but maybe it would be better if they go in person. It's rough hearing this over the phone. I apologize for not telling James in person. He told me that's okay. It's not the worst thing that's happened to him today. Did I want to come with him to see Steve? And I said sure. As soon as Fran leaves, I'll come to get him. James said he'll call Steve and ask if I can come by. He'll call me back. Fran came downstairs with her packed bag. She asked me if she could stay so we could talk. I've told you 15,000 times that we're divorcing. Get the hell out. How much more clear do I need to be? I said no, but I had a question for her. Why ask for an open marriage? She was already seeing other guys. Why did she risk bringing up an open marriage? She must have known I'd know she was cheating. Fran said there wasn't a bunch of guys, there was just one guy. She asked for an open marriage because, wait for it, she was tired of sneaking around. She felt too guilty. She didn't realize I'd accuse her of cheating. It would just be a discussion, like talking about getting a dog or where to go on vacation. Yeah, okay, honey. Keep telling yourself that. If I said yes to the open marriage, she wouldn't feel guilty anymore. Yeah, she'd have the best of both worlds. Like this really works out for the guy. If I said yes to the open marriage, she wouldn't feel guilty anymore. If I said no, she'd break it off with the guy she was seeing and never cheat on me again. He says, SSM, if anyone believes that, I've got a bridge to sell them. Dude, I'm sorry. This is terrible. She is a piece of shit and deserves everything that I know is going to happen to her. I told her not to let the door hit her ass on the way out. She started crying again, pleading me to let her stay. I told her to get out. She said she'll be staying at her parents'. Please call her to talk. Fat chance. James called and said God damn it. James called and said Steve and Jesse were home. We were welcome to come by, but Steve wanted to know what was up. James told him we'll talk when we get there. James' son is older, so I told my boys to get ready. They're spending the evening at James's house with his kids. They asked where Mom was. I told her she went to her parents. We're having some problems, so we're separating. We'll talk more later. Now they had to get ready. I wanted to really think about what to tell the kids, so I put it off that we needed to talk, the conversation that we needed to have. They didn't ask about their mother again in the car. I picked up James and dropped the kids off. When we got to Steve's, Jessie was nervous, but it didn't look like she'd been warned by Fran or Liv that they were onto them. Jessie and Steve sat on the couch, and James and I sat in chairs across from them. James said we had some information that Steve needs to know about. Jessie turned pale. Man, I'd love to see this whole thing play out. James said that he and I discovered that our wives have been cheating on us for years. Girls' nights were just an excuse to hook up with other men. And that's what our 3 wives have been doing. Jessie got angry and told Steve that wasn't true. Girls' nights were just an excuse to drink and some gossip. God almighty, these guys know, and this third guy's wife is now denying the whole thing. It's amazing. Just some time to enjoy themselves a little bit. Jessie said she's never cheated on Steve and never would. She couldn't imagine being with another man. You noticing a pattern here, guys? Steve asked how we knew that our wives were cheating. I said that both my wife and James' wives confessed. They also both said that Jessie was cheating too. Jessie again stated that she would never cheat on Steve. She didn't know what Fran and Liv did after she left, but she's not been with another man since she met Steve. She has no interest in any other man. Okay, we've been through this whole song and dance early in the day with our guy here telling the story. Let's just see how this plays out. Steve asked to see Jessie's phone. She became very alarmed. She just told him that she's been always been faithful. She and Steve were not the kind of people who snooped through each other's phones. She said she's never cheated, and that's that. She and Steve have always taken each other's word for everything. It was very painful. Steve was doubting her now. Now Steve's the bad guy, according to Miss Jessie here. Jessie, short for Jessica. I told you about this gal's named Jessica. Steve said to give him her phone. Jessie got angry. Doesn't he trust her? If he didn't trust her, that was his problem. So he's the bad guy now. She didn't have to prove anything to him. Loving husbands trust their wives. They don't investigate their wives. Steve said, give me your phone or pack up and leave. She was making too big a deal of this. She was acting too guilty. What did she have to hide? Jessie said her phone was dead. She needed to put it in the charger. What is it with these women in these stories? Oh, the phone's dead. You can't see it. I got to put it on the charger. He could look at it after it's charged. But him demanding to see the phone didn't speak well about him or how he feels about Jessie. His demanding her phone wasn't good for their marriage. Steve had real trust issues. So she's basically making Steve out to be the bad guy. You're crazy. You're paranoid. To think I would do such a thing to you. Steve's conversation with his wife about her phone was the same as my conversation with my wife about her phone. They all say the same things. That's because they all are subscribe and read the Hobag Handbook. Except the girl's version of the Hobag Handbook. Steve told her to get her phone. A bad idea. I jumped up and said, I'll get it. Angry, Jessie said I wasn't to touch her phone. She got up after it was charged. She'll go put on the charger. She got up. Steve realized what she'd be doing before giving him the phone and asked me to go get her phone. Jessie said, no way. Don't touch her phone. Steve told her, sit down. I got her phone. The lock screen showed Jessie's phone was almost fully charged. Amazing. It must have charged up that quickly in the time that you got off the couch to go get it. Remember, this is Miss My Phone is Dead. I gave it to Steve. Steve told Jessie to open it up. She said, again, that Steve's suspicions was ruining their marriage. She didn't realize how insecure and controlling he was. Steve said, open the phone. Jessie opened the phone and started crying. And that, gentlemen, is where we're going to leave things off right now. And part 2, I'll play in a couple hours. Stop yelling at me. God damn it, I can hear y'all yelling at me all over the world. I need a break. I'm losing my voice. We will pick up on part 2 in a few hours, and you're going to see what they find out in good old Jessica's phone here. And it ain't pretty. And you're also going to see how this whole thing plays out. I told you this was a good one, and this is terrible, but definitely one you guys won't forget anytime soon. So, guys, I'll see you in a couple hours.